Shalom, shalom, and welcome. Welcome to White Rose family. My name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I'm compelled to present before an awakening, set-apart nation. In the name of Yahusha, I come to you, my brothers and sisters. In this segment, this installment, I bring to you the words that I am compelled to present. This is the 59th installment, my brothers and sisters, of White Rose family. And I want to bring your attention to the coronavirus, or nCoV, which stands for novel coronavirus, or Covid-19, as they're saying it, versus the seal. And I will present a case, my brothers and sisters, where the coronavirus, and I know that there are different types of coronaviruses, but the word corona in itself is akin to the definition called crown. I will submit to you, O Yashar'al, where it is the crown viruses that are attacking the crown of Yahuah, the crowns of Yahuah, being us. And I will submit a case where the seal that is mentioned in the scriptures represents our crown, O Yashar'al. Come with me, and I will present that case to you and give you instructions that you can weigh and seek to discern that just might save a life or bring a degree of comfort. But before I get into that, let me read the following. Warning and disclaimer. The information contained in White Rose family represents instructions and warnings to individuals who believe they are drawn by the Almighty Creator Yahuah to Yahusha Mashyach. And I reference, my brothers and sisters, John 6:44. Excuse me. The content presented centers around end-time realities. Please be advised this site is not intended for children under 16 years of age due to its content. And I say that to be compliant with the video platform, my brothers and sisters. By continuing forward, you agree to hold Symmanayah harmless of any influence in or actions that arise as a result of watching, listening, and reviewing the content presented. The views expressed do not reflect the owners, management, and or shareholders of this media platform. Please note that I am not affiliated with anyone or organization with similar names. With that said, let's get into this segment. I believe you will find it relatively interesting, my brothers and sisters, to say the least. Coronavirus versus the seal. My brothers and sisters, I know that there are multiple and different types of coronaviruses. And if you research them, coronaviruses are viruses that attack the lungs. They attack the body by the lungs. They're trying to disrupt the process of us breathing and producing blood. Breathing is where our breath meets the water in our body, along with many other working parts to produce blood. And I say to you, O Yashar'al, attacking the blood in the water is just as akin to attacking the breath in the water is just as akin to attacking the blood. And I would say to you, O Yashar'al, that the other day as I arose, yesterday to be exact, it was as though in my prayer, I believe the Spirit of Yahusha was saying, this is the crown of viruses attacking the crown, that seal that we have through the blood of Yahusha. Thus, you see the color of this slide, the color scheme, and what I'm wearing underneath the white robe, red, representing the blood of the Lamb. Come, my brothers and sisters, let's move forward as I present this case. Let me give you a brief update. As of this morning, the coronavirus, and I say reported 2/29, that date Actually, I probably should change that. And I believe I will, for the sake of correctness, my brothers and sisters. The data that I present, that date and time has changed. It's as of today. And I will correct that since it is etched and recording. In most cases, my brothers and sisters, you will discover that I do not do video editing. Will I fall and stumble at times in the process? Indeed, I will. Will I struggle? Indeed, I will. The scripture states that the flesh war against the spirit. So who among us is aware of what that means and what must be done to correct such matters? Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, these are some trying times. Trying times indeed. Let me see if I get this corrected. Okay, there we go. The coronavirus as of March 1st, 2020 reported, and I took these numbers at 7:36 Eastern Standard Time. The number infected, that is reported to be infected, 87,670. The number of deaths, 2,994. In over 64 countries, my brothers and sisters, the coronavirus, novel coronavirus, Covid-19. I heard someone ask about coronavirus and say that they saw it on a Lysol, and took a picture where they saw it on a Lysol can. There are different types of coronaviruses. This is called the novel coronavirus, which they changed the name to Covid-19. 87,670 infected, 2,994 deaths. And again, these are reported. Consider the numbers that are not reported in over 64 countries. Examine the number of countries and be mindful of what I have warned regarding the closing scroll. My brothers and sisters, I have a segment called The Closing Scroll. And I invite you to view that playlist. It speaks about habitable places will shrink in the coming days. The scroll of habitable places have begun to close, O Yashar'al. Pray and watch and seek to discern. My brothers and sisters, I will also devote a message centered around restored dominion. And I will share with you how this crown virus is seeking to maintain or take dominion over us, these earthen vessels. But I will go beyond that. So look for that segment, restored dominion. Let me continue. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, consider these words. Luke 4:39, and standing over her, he rebuked the inflammation, and it left her, and instantly rising up, she served them. In the King James Version, it says, and he stood over her and rebuked the fever, and it left her, and immediately she arose and ministered unto them. My brothers and sisters, inflammation, fever. What do you see people doing to check individuals that are traveling? What is the first thing you see them doing? Checking their temperature, checking to see if they have a fever. You see, my brothers and sisters, the Most High gave us an example how to deal with fever. The Mashyach even says some things come by fasting and prayer. My brothers and sisters, again, I say to you, for Yahusha to rebuke the fever, that's letting them know that that's an enemy of the body. And I say to you, my brothers and sisters, this virus is attacking where we breathe. Are we not aware when the Almighty Father created man that he breathed life into us? Are you not aware of by his word and how his word is compared to water? So he breathed into us, and then by his word, by the water of the Almighty Father, the voice of his Spirit, we became alive. But life everlasting became marked by the blood. So through the life he's given us, through the breath he's given us, and by the blood of the Lamb, we are restored into that life. And I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, the coronavirus is a literal, practical, and natural attack to degrade us, to bring us down, to control our emotions and create havoc. It is, in my opinion, an end-time plague. And I say to you, my brothers and sisters, that the blood that the coronavirus is trying to distort naturally is to keep our minds off the blood of the Lamb of Yahusha. For I believe the blood of the Lamb is indeed our seal. Consider these words as we move on. And you hear me say, discern the life. For we can read the text, my brothers and sisters, and might not get it. We can discern the life and get so much more. Consider the life regarding the power in the blood. In Exodus 12:7, and they shall take some of the blood and put it on the two doorposts and on the lintel of the house where they eat it. This is just an excerpt of what happened in the first Passover when Yashar'al was saved. They put the blood on the doorpost. Whether we say put the blood on the doorpost or say that they put a seal on the doorpost. A seal, if you consider a seal is to keep something in or to keep something out. And I submit to you, this was a seal that we were to live. Let me continue. Exodus 12:13 and 14 says, and the blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I shall pass over you and let the plague not come on you to destroy you when I strike the land of Mitzrayim. And this day shall become to you a remembrance, and you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yahuah throughout your generations, celebrate it as a festival and everlasting law. The power of the blood saved those during the days that Yashar'al was in Mitzrayim. And I say to you, my brothers and sisters, the power of the blood in Passover comes life to the obedient who follow the instructions. Let me continue. Regarding the blood, discern the seal, the blood of Yahusha. As I stated, I believe the seal is indeed the blood of Yahusha. Consider this. Revelation 7:1-3 says, and after this I saw four messengers standing at the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds in the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another messenger coming up from the rising of the sun, holding the seal of the living Almighty One. And he cried with a loud voice to the four messengers to whom it was given to harm the earth and the sea, saying, do not harm the earth, nor the sea, nor the trees, until we have sealed the servants of our Almighty One upon their foreheads. Many people believe that it's just talking about the 144,000 since it goes into that afterwards. But read all the way down and read the entire chapter, for it also mentions a great multitude of many nations, kindreds, and tongues, my brothers and sisters. Notice it says holding the seal. If you search the scriptures, you'll see where it talks about Yahusha being lifted up. And if you search the scriptures, you'll see that even the Mashyach was tempted by the Hasatan, trying to get him to jump off a cliff and say the angels, the messengers will hold him up. Quoting scriptures. I say to you this, my brothers and sisters, to let you know there is an importance to holding up Yahusha, not the tempting, but the lifting up of Yahusha. For I believe the blood of the Lamb is the seal of those that are his. Pray and watch, O Yashar'al. Now what is different during these times is it's not literal blood that we put on the doorpost. It is the spiritual blood of the Lamb. Did he spill literal blood? Yes, but ultimately it's talking about the spiritual blood of the Lamb, the atonement. That is the seal that brings us into everlasting life. And I say to you, my brothers and sisters, this coronavirus is trying to get our minds off of looking at the dominion that was assigned to us in our spirit, the crown that we receive through Yahusha Mashyach. So it's attacking our bodies, my brothers and sisters. Keep in mind the scriptures say the flesh war against the spirit. And I submit to you, this attack is an attack. And not just the coronavirus, but all those that attack the respiratory system that's trying to distract from us rising up in the blood of the Lamb. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, consider these words if you believe that that's a stretch. Listen carefully, O Yashar'al, to the question I pose to you. And I speak often of asking questions, for in asking questions that represent seeking answers. And as the Most High see fit, answers will come. Was Yashar'al spared during the first Passover? Indeed, they were. Now I ask you, will we be spared by the final Passover resulting from the blood of the Lamb of Yahusha? That final Passover, my brothers and sisters, is as death comes before us. It is swallowed up, for we realize that everlasting life we have gained by Yahusha Mashyach. So for some, when we physically die, we will recognize we will rest in peace and shalom until the resurrection. And for some of us, we will find ourselves being spared physically and literally to fulfill the final exodus, to fulfill what is written about some of us being martyrs for Yahusha's name. My brothers and sisters, the seal, the blood of Yahusha, lets us know that there is more to life than what we witness before our very eyes in these earthen vessels. Let me continue. Stay with me, O Yashar'al, as I read these matters and present this case before you. In Malachi 3:6, it says, "For I am Yahuah. I shall not change, and you, O sons of Yaakov, shall not come to an end." I share this with you, my brothers and sisters, for just as the Passover, there was instructions given regarding the blood that brought about life. I say to you again, just as we face physical death, some of us, as a result of these coronaviruses, or even any other diseases, whether it be Ebola, cancer, diabetes, anything that attacks the body to stop us from breathing. I say to you, my brothers and sisters, we who are the Almighty Fathers know that the flesh will return and have its appointed time to return back to the earth. We, O brothers and sisters, should know the power and might of Deuteronomy 8:3. Let us begin to meditate on that each day. Deuteronomy 8:3, which talks about man doesn't live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Almighty Father. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, reflect on the power of the blood as I shared. And remember, the Most High does not change. He saved Yashar'al by the blood in Exodus, and he will save us again and is saving us by the blood of the Lamb. Consider James 1:16 and 17 as well, my brothers and sisters. Do not go astray, my beloved brothers. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no change, nor shadowing, or turning. My brothers and sisters, we will see what we are experiencing now is very similar in that life was threatened and challenged, and how Yashar'al responded to the instructions from the Almighty Father back then, and how we should do it now. My brothers and sisters, yes, you hear me speak of many questions, presenting questions. Could the coronavirus be one of the 3 plagues mentioned in Revelation 9:18? Could it be a part of end time diseases that are mentioned in Matthew 24? My brothers and sisters, Yashar'al, end time realities are unfolding before our very eyes. Do you not know that the scriptures talk about 1/3 of mankind, and then later on another 1/3? It speaks of 2/3 of the population being wiped out. Are you aware that the coronavirus, they're saying that 2/3 of the planet will be affected by it, giving us a tip of what could possibly be. It didn't say 2/3 would be killed. It said 2/3 would be affected. But imagine its mutation contributing to death. I'm not trying to fearmonger. I want you to see the realities of what's unfolding. This is not some hoax as one would have you to think. This is real, O Yashar'al. Gird up and seek to discern how to release the power to rebuke the fever, to rebuke disease, to heal. You see, my brothers and sisters, some will demonstrate that, and some will not. And just as the scriptures say he reigned on the just and the unjust, the good and the wicked, so will it be among us. Some of us will be healed if and only if we find ourselves being infected with any of these diseases. Some of us will be healed. Some of us will never get it by the covering of the blood of the Lamb. Whatever the case may be, O Yashar'al, the strength is in the inward man. The strength is in the power of the Spirit of the Almighty Father within us. My brothers and sisters, are you not aware? In Matthew 24:7 and 8, it says, for nation shall rise against nation, reign against reign, and there shall be scarcities of food and deadly diseases, and earthquakes in places, and all these are the beginning of birth pains. Can you see the reality of what's unfolding, my brothers and sisters? What say you? What are you prepared to do, O Yashar'al? You know, I speak of the closing scroll, habitable places shrinking, my brothers and sisters. I speak of the final exodus. I speak of every person that is physically alive will be shaken and moved at some point in time, those that are physically alive now. Whether it be quarantine, whether it be earthquakes, whether it be wildfires, whether it be disease, there are elements that will force migration, movement, O Yashar'al, for we are called to recognize that there will be a gathering from the four corners of the earth. There will be wicked nations coming together in the valley of Megiddo, and at some point march against the camp that has been gathered from the four corners of the earth, the camp of Yashar'al, the camp, the set apart people of Yahuah. My brothers and sisters, we must and we will learn when to embrace and when to come away. We will begin to discern where we're supposed to be and how we are to govern ourselves, what tasks are before us. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, end times will prove that it is time to discover what must and will be done. I say often, my brothers and sisters, don't get caught. I say often, do not get caught in congestion. Do not get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time and find yourself battling with regret, remorse, and grief because you did not obey. You did not discern and listen. There are those that will weep and cry for loved ones left behind or in the wrong places at the wrong time that will face sickness and possibly death. And there will be those that will shout hallelujah, for the Most High has deemed fit to guide me through all that is unfolding for a purpose, for a reason. Whatever the case may be, please read Deuteronomy 8:3. Meditate on it daily, so that in the face of death, physical death, you will still shout, hallelujah, my redemption draws near. Hallelujah, I have everlasting life through Yahusha Mashyach. My brothers and sisters, there are things that must and will be done. White Rose family has been tasked to introduce a plan, O Yashar'al, a plan that will contribute to the coming together of a set-apart nation, a plan that will contribute towards deliverance, a plan that will demonstrate instructions on how to yield to the power of the Most High and be used by Him in healing individuals and covering individuals with the power and might of the blood of the Lamb. Through the set-apart spirit of Yahusha, we will rise up. There will be relocation. There will be lifestyle changes. There will be those included and those not. Seek to discern, O Yashar'al, for one day, if that day is not now, you will desire to identify a team of leaders, vetted, proven to be chosen by the Almighty Father, that you can go to ask questions, to seek guidance and counseling. White Rose families seek to develop an information and resource center. There are practical and natural questions that you have as things unfold. Test the information that is available now and that will be available in the future, my brothers and sisters. Test it, vet it, and see if it's indeed the Spirit of Yahuah working through that person, through me, through you, through another. To build a team with diverse skills, to teach individuals skills that are necessary to manage the gathering of Yashar'al, to manage the sheltering in place or the movement of Yashar'al. Teaching one how to do the things that are necessary, whether it be mechanics, whether it be planting and growing food, whether it be purifying water, whether it be guarding, protecting one another. A team with diverse skill sets that will mentor those who are unlearned or less skilled. To purchase land in Virginia, which I believe will be the exit point for the Western Hemisphere before going to the Promised Land, before going to that focal point that would be centered around the true Mount Sinai, which is currently known as Jabal al-Lawz. To identify and support safe zones as we find ourselves migrating, moving. Movement come, O Yashar'al. Look around. There are exodus that have begun already. Many are fleeing the coronavirus. Many are fleeing Ebola, measles. There are some diseases that are more concentrated in some locations than others, and people are fleeing them. I say to you, my brothers and sisters, these are extreme humbling times, and the set-apart children of Yahuah will learn when to stand still and stand your ground as ordered by Him, and when to flee. Fear not the things that destroy the body, my brothers and sisters. Fear not what man can do, someone giving you a disease or not. Fear not that. Fear He who can destroy body and soul, who is the Almighty One. This is His plan. It is His call whether we have favor to live another day or not. The time is to take these matters serious and begin to walk in the instructions and guidance that's being provided, my brothers and sisters. White Rose family will provide guidance and support for completing the journey. As much as we find, as much as I find, as much as those who are a part of this plan find breath from the Almighty Father, life, and the ability to pass on what is necessary in terms of guidance and support for completing the journeys ahead. To provide guidance for the inner court, the set-apart children of Yahuah. Let us not concern ourselves with those who are outside the court, those who have no intentions of seeking to do the will of the Almighty Father. Let us know how to focus forward, O Yashar'al, and we will get through all the challenges that are about to unfold. Those who are directed, the 144,000 in great multitude will rise and emerge in the coming days, my brothers and sisters. And we will learn how to position ourselves, how to govern ourselves as we find ourselves waiting on Yahusha Mashyach's physical return. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, things come with a cost. It may be money, it may be resources, it may be supplies, it may be skill sets. I say to you, my brothers and sisters, count the cost. Use it or lose it. You see, my brothers and sisters, as I speak, the Dow Jones have lost a lot of value. And many of you say, oh, I'm not into stocks and bonds. I don't pay attention to that. That's because many of us don't look. Just as the coronavirus is attacking us, and many saying, I don't see the connection how it's attacking where the breath of Yahuah and the water that we drink come together, forming the blood in our body, where the coronavirus is attacking us and don't want us to recognize that there's power in the blood, but the blood of the Lamb, so it's distracting us on these earthen bodies being attacked. Many of us don't want to look at all the details, but just as I said with the Dow Jones, the job, if you have a job, if you have a business, commerce circulates by an infusion of cash. This is how stores that we go to, many of them are allowed to stay open. They're not just heavily loaded with debt. They have investment dollars. And since the Dow has dropped, the value of that, the value of many of us who may have 401k has dropped and plummeted. The value of many of us, the wealth that we have acquired, whatever that amount may be, has tumbled and may not regain. So the money you think you may have saving and storing up for when you retire is evaporating. The value of that is evaporating as I speak. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al. End times will bring an economic collapse. Use what you have while you can. Use it or lose it. I believe the Most High Father will harden and soften hearts as it relates to people supporting the plans that are unfolding. White Rose Family Plan and other individuals who have plans that have been given to them by the Almighty Father that will connect in the bringing together of a set-apart nation, a set-apart family. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, what say you? What is your stance? Can you see, my brothers and sisters? Are you able to see? Are you able to recognize what's unfolding? The coronavirus is spreading like a wildfire, my brothers and sisters, and it is attacking us. Let us not stop with looking at it and look beyond what the attack is doing. My encouragement, my instructions to you is to recognize that the seal of the Almighty Father, the seal on our forehead, is recognizing a covering, a crown of set-apartness by the blood of the Lamb, Yahusha Mashyach. So as the crown of diseases mutates, multiply, and diversify to attack us, let us lean in to the crown of the blood of the Lamb, the seal. And I believe, O Yashar'al, if you search the scriptures and discern what it is saying, it's not like we just got the seal in these last days, but what it is saying is we are aware of the presence and power of the blood of the Lamb. We are aware of how the blood of the Lamb, it is through Yahusha Mashiach we receive life and life everlasting. We are aware that these corruptibles will be put off, and we will put on the incorruptible. Hear these words, O Yashar'al. Final days are ahead. Man is on a collision course for extinction from a natural perspective. And I believe that the world government is trying to reduce the population in an effort to prepare for mass extinction. And you might say, how can you say extinction? You see, my brothers and sisters, we may get turned off or disagree because of the word of mass extinction. But what do you think will happen when Judgment Day comes and all physical bodies go back to the earth? That's extinction, my brothers and sisters. And while man may not accept the plan of Yahuah, it has begun to become clearer and clearer. So what man is doing, the wicked one is doing, is trying to reduce the population to present a false security, thinking that there's that solution, that man has that solution. And I've heard some doctors and scientists and virologists say, the coronavirus doesn't want to kill you. It wouldn't kill itself. It wouldn't want to kill its host. That's not true. Science might say that. But my brothers and sisters, when you look at the seed of such destruction, when you look at the seed of disease, it is wicked. And wickedness divides and conquer even itself. The scriptures say, no, how can two walk together unless they agree? Any house divided against itself will fall. And I say to you, my brothers and sisters, this coronavirus attacking the body, it doesn't care whether it saved the body because it's the host. It's an instinctive disease. And in its instinct, it is to destroy even itself. Pray and seek to understand the realities of what's unfolding, my brothers and sisters. For in understanding what is happening, it will bring a degree of comfort, even if it's for the moment, to give us the strength to press on in spite of losing a loved one, in spite of witnessing mass destruction come, in spite of seeing the economy collapse. Understanding gives us the strength, believing wholeheartedly that the Almighty Father has given us everlasting life, will allow us to rise up in the strength of the inward man, joined with the Almighty Father. In the name of Yahusha, hear these words, O Yashar'al. There is much more to say, much more ahead. I say to you, my brothers and sisters, choose wisely, for the challenge is on its way to your doorstep, as with mine. In the name of Yahusha, I pray that we have the strength and fortitude to press through it. I pray for your good health, and I pray more than anything that we're able to discern clearly and respond with all correctness to the voice of the Spirit of the Almighty Father Yahuah that comes to us in Yahusha's name. On that note, I salute you, your patience, your pursuit of set-apartness, your desire to worship and obey the Almighty Father. And I say to you, O listener, O viewer of these words, Shalom.